Welcome to Digital Softics. In this session, we are going to explain about what is Database Administrator or what is DBA. So let's move towards today's agenda. What is Database Administrator and function or responsibilities of a DBA or Data Administrator, Database Administrator. So what is DBA? So DBA is an important person in the development of any important system. He is responsible for designing, operation, and management of database. He must be technically competent, good manager, and skilled diplomatic. He should have a good communication skills. So what is DBA? So as we know that their database is a big responsibility and managing the data in the database is a big responsibility. That is why a person who look up the database and look up the important operations such as retrieving, entering the data, and all the operation performed on the data is looked by the person we call them database administrator. It is a very high post because he is responsible for the database operation and he is responsible for taking care of a database. So he is responsible for designing the system. So he play a very important role when the system in design, when designing the database operation, such as entering input the data, retrieving the data, searching the data, different kind of operation perform on the data, and management of a database. So database management such as adding new features, taking the security of a database at a higher level, and a lot of operation that are performed on the database. He must be technically competent, so he have a vast area of knowledge to take care of the database. A good manager to manage the thing easily, and he have a skills and a skilled diplomatic, so he should have a good communication skills. So let's explain about the technical competent, good manager, and skilled diplomatic. What are these skills? So following are the skill necessary for the good DBA or database administrator. Manager Manager skills are important in planning, coordinating, and carrying out different tasks. So the database is the data is present where need planning, coordinating, and carrying out different tasks. So when the data is stored in the database, so it is responsibility of DBA to look after the data and plan about the data to the user easily access them. And that is why the coordination among the team members in data administration is really very important. So it is the responsibility to look after these things by the DBA. So technical skills are required to understand the complex hardware and software issues. So technical skills such as a person who have a knowledge about the database, such as software engineer or information technology person or a computer science student or whatever the skills. So information technology skills are very important because he aware about the hardware complexity. What are the hardware complexity, what are the common issues that we face in hardware, and the software issues, that what the issue that the user facing is a software issue or hardware issue. So it is a responsibility of DBA to look after. So when the technical skills are the DBA have are good, then it is really very easy for the people to access the data, because the DBA is responsible for look after all the things of the database, such as hardware issues and whatever the software issues. So her diplomatic skills are important in communicating with user, determining their needs, and negotiating agreements. So it is really important skill, communicating with the user, taking feedback from the user. So it is a diplomatic skill and is really important for the DBA. And determining their needs. So what are their needs? So when the time changes, the requirements are changing and the user need are changing. So DBA should look after these things to get the user needs and update the system according to the user expectations. So let's explain about the functions of DBA. Functions of DBA: identifying user requirements. So for system development, we need user requirements. So DBA will collect all the user requirements. DBA identifies the current user environment. He closely studies the current system and its output. He interviewed different users to know their current and future requirements. So when the requirements are greatly managed, so the system will be work 98%. Sure, that is why when the requirements are managed, when the requirements are collected, so according to that requirements, the DBA will develop the new system and the DBA will update the current system. Designing logical model. So after analyzing the user requirements, a user environment or requirements, the DBA develops a logical data model for the organization. This model consists of all the entities, attributes, and relationships. So simple example we have a student, its registration, courses, and we have CIFSO is ERD. So in the coming tutorial we will explain you about the ERD and the relationship. So the student is an entity, registration is another entity, course is another entity, and seat is another entity. So these are the attributes: student name, student address, student ID. So when the student will, how the student will register, and how the student will get registration in the course, and how will assign the seat. So this is a logical data design. So it is responsibility of DBA to manage and to identify all the entities and their relationship among the entities. That is why systems are made from thousands of entities from more than one entity. So that is why the DBA will identify the entities, their attributes, and their relationship. Choosing of DBMS. So DBMS is a collection of programs. So DBA will manage the database. So the DBA will identify, and the DBA will install the system which called the Dbms. So the DBA choose a particular database management system on the basis of a logical data model, as we explained previous. So this selected DBMS satisfy all requirements and constraint identified in the logical data model. Such as we have a popular DBMS systems, MySQL, IBM DB2 family, SQL, and a lot of things. So that is why these are the DBMS systems popular. So it is up to the DBA to identify the which database management system is important, and which database management system will satisfy my requirements and satisfaction to the user. That is why it is responsibility of DBA to identify the database management system. Developing a physical model, such as storing the data on hardware devices, on hardware whatever the storage devices we store data. So the DBA creates the exact layout of a data according to the facilities of selected DBMS and available resources of software and hardware. So it is responsibility to develop a physical model for the database. 5. Creating and loading database. So after developing physical model, the DBA creates the structure of a database by using DBMS. He also loads the data into the database. So creating and loading data is in the database is responsibility of DBA. He is responsible to loads the data to the database. Number 6 is developing user view. Any project basically developed to serve the user. So DBA should guide the user about the functionality of database, that how to search data, how to perform different kind of operation on data present in the database. So if a request of the user is not satisfied, DBA should satisfy it. So developing a user view and taking feedback from the user is a responsibility of DBA. Training the users, providing a training session such as a DVD or CD cards or a manual to the user to train about the system, that how the system will perform, and application program and others, so that they use the database effectively. So helping the database user. So the database administrator make sure that data they require is available and assisting them on using correctly system. So these are the responsibility of DBA: training the user, helping the database users. So these all are the responsibility of DBA. So if you facing any kind of issue, write your queries in the comment section. Thanks for watching.